I know there's a lot of discussion around MOT versus OTD and should you get a master's or should you get a doctorate. So I thought I'd just share my reasons why I am currently enrolled in an OTD program or an occupational therapy doctorate as opposed to, not necessarily as opposed to a master's. This is just why I chose to go, or I'm choosing at this point in time to go the OTD route as opposed to getting my master's. And this might change. This is just my current standing with this issue, and I may choose at some point, because my school allows me that flexibility, if I may choose to not to do the doctorate and to just pursue the master's. But at this point in time, I'm considering doing the doctorate. And so I have a couple of reasons for doing that. And one of the main reasons I personally am doing it is because the school that I'm attending works with neonates, and that is an area that I am interested in, and they do research in this area. And so for me to be able to, if I do the doctorate, I will have more hands-on experience in this area, and whether or not I choose to eventually pursue that area when I am an occupational therapist, who knows, but I definitely feel like if I have the opportunity to get more hands-on work in this area, then that's a great opportunity for me. Now, even if I don't, that information would still be great for me if I work in early intervention or if I do pediatrics. So I feel like that's a great benefit right there. Another reason for me to pursue the OTD versus the MOT is just that I don't feel like it takes that much longer, to be perfectly honest. It's not that much more time. There is a financial difference, of course, and depending on what school you attend, that can be larger or smaller. But for me, I feel like the chances of me going back to school to finish either a PhD or whatever, any additional education, is lower than if I just go ahead and take care of it right now and kind of knock it out of the way. So for me, I feel like I'd rather just get it done, and then if I still want to go back and get additional certifications or that sort of thing, I can. But if I don't, and I just have my OTD, I would be totally fine with that. So for me, I just like the idea of kind of getting it done, and that way I don't have to be later on in life balancing, going back for whatever advanced degree that I want while I'm balancing everything else in my life in addition to a career. So it just seemed like a good time. It's not that much extra time. Financially, it is definitely more of a burden, but I don't think it's an outrageous price given the amount of time. So for me, it seems worth it. One thing I also really like about the program that I'm going to be attending is that I do have the option, I think it's for the first year of the program, I'm not sure if that's correct, but I can switch between doing a master's and doing a doctorate, and so I really like that freedom, because if I enter into the program and then I realize that it's really not for me or it's not what I expect it to be, I have the opportunity to switch back down and just do the master's. So I like having that freedom. I doubt that I will do that, but you never know. We'll see when I get in there. Another thing is that I've heard from different therapists that although a doctorate in OTD doesn't actually give you right off the bat any financial differences, there's really no huge incentive when you have zero experience. There's not really any great benefit. I've heard that later on, as you're further along in your career, having that OTD will open up more doors for you and will help you get different positions, or really just give you more opportunities than if you didn't. Now, of course, experience is a large factor. So having an OTD and no experience versus someone who has masters and tons of experience, you're not really in a better position than them, but having the OTD and then in addition having experience to back that up puts you in a really good position. So that's really exciting, and I really like that little bonus right there. And then the last reason for me is really a very personal reason, and it's that two members of my family, both my mom and my aunt, have had back problems when they're in their early 40s. And like, I know my mom, I think both my mom and my aunt actually have had weight restrictions put on them, and they haven't been able to do, lift certain amounts of weight, or they're not supposed to do certain things after their surgery for a really long time. And just that fear of having, restrictions placed on me especially going into a career. I really don't want to feel like, my career is going to end when I'm 40. And so just being able to know that that there are other areas and other opportunities, and the OTD just really opens up even more opportunities for me than a master's would. It just makes me personally feel a lot more comfortable with my career. I don't want to think that I'm going to spend, 3-ish years working on a degree, and then in 10 plus years I'm going to have to reevaluate and get a totally different career, or go into an area of occupational therapy that I'm not as interested in. So I just really like that security that I'll have. And so for me, that's a really big factor. Obviously, that's personal. Not everyone's going to have that, but that for me is definitely one of the major factors in deciding to pursue an OTD as opposed to the master's. Obviously, it's a very personal decision. When you first start out, there's really no great benefit to having an OTD versus a master's. It's more with the experience behind your OTD that you're actually going to see any benefits. It's obviously there's a lot of discussion that happens, and some people think it's a horrible idea, and some people think it's a great idea. These are just my reasons why I'm choosing at the moment to do the OTD, and you can agree with them or disagree with them as you like. But this is just why I personally am choosing the path that I'm choosing to go on. If you guys are doing other paths, that's totally fine. I don't think ill of anyone doing a master's or doing a doctorate. I think it's up to you and really your personal life situation. These are just the reasons that I'm choosing to do the path that I'm choosing to do. So I hope you're having a great day. If you're deciding between master's and occupational therapy doctorate, I would definitely just talk to a bunch of different people, hear different opinions about why, and so you can weigh the pros and cons for yourself, because it really depends on what you're wanting out of your education. So I hope you're having a great day. Bye.